Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and today we're going to be talking about the Light Bowgun. So getting towards the end of some of my weapon guides here, and the bowgun is on the simpler side, but if you feel like you want a little bit more ability, a couple different options, the light and the heavy bowgun play different. That's why I'm doing different videos on them. You'll have some similarities, but you'll see the differences if you watch both videos. Basic firing mode, your Eagle Strike is going to be your focus shot. Chasing is like after your first fire, you get kind of a follow-up with a little bit more power to it, but you will use another piece of ammo. Reloading, switching modes will allow you to rapidly fire certain types of ammo, not all. Special ammo, depending on what that is, will kind of allow you to get some extra explosions with Wyvern Blast and other things. Then you've also got selecting your ammo types. And then we get to combos. You've got aim, fire, and then you can either do a burst step, or you can do the chaser shot, which I'll show you both. And that's mostly it. You got rapid fire mode, and then your Wyvern Blast is going to be your bomb that kind of detonates, and that's your special. So there's not as much depth to it, but it doesn't mean the weapon should be boring. It is a ranged option. It's a very viable ranged option. I've seen people do plenty with it. So we can cover it first. This is going to be your special ammo. So you'll see on the bottom right-hand corner, so if you come down here to your ammo types, you'll see what you've got for ammo types available. Your normal, standard ammo fires multiple shots. Armor piercing, depending on the monster, it can deal multiple hits. And then you've got bowgun. So this is going to be your spread ammo. So this is going to be for close combat. And then you've also got things like paralysis and freeze. I mean, thunder's pretty cool. So if you load that in and you get a shot off, you get your electricity. But it's just a single kind of launching shot. And then you got to reload it. And, you know, if you go to switch modes, you can kind of unload it quickly. So if I go to reload now, and I'm in my alternate fire mode, I get a couple of bursts to it. So the ammo is definitely something you're going to be playing around with a lot. And that does give you a lot of viability of what you want to do. Normal ammo, you'll see the actual gauge will go from this icon for the range that I'm on to here, right about here. Sorry, you'll notice it changes orange. So that's not in range. And then this is in range. You'll hit for more when you're actually in range. And then also as I get closer, you'll notice I will actually get not really out of range up close. But if I switch ammo and I go to, say, spread ammo for close combat, like the spread goes kind of on top of them. So you've got pretty close. But you'll notice my range stops a little bit farther to where it actually hits properly. And again, you'll notice when you go for a reload, you got to be at the right range. Everyone's going to fire a little bit different, so they take a little bit to get used to. So part of it is understanding your ammos and when and where to use what. If you got an enemy or a monster that's weak against electric damage, you've got thunder, maybe you need to poison it, maybe you've got tranquil ammo. So there's going to be different options that you've got. But your normal firing is you've got your basic fire. I can just pull the trigger if I'm near him. Never said it's going to be accurate. It's probably not going to be, but if you're close to him, you're probably still going to hit him because you're right next to him. So that's kind of one of those things. You've got those. Then if I go for switching modes, I've got my basic 3 here. And again, I'm not doing as much damage because that's kind of like scabbed over after the wound. So you're likely going to want to aim. It's going to let you do a bit more damage to things. And then when you open a wound, your focus blast is your Eagle Strike. And you'll notice on the where the ammo's at over here, when you get to kind of what that looks like, you'll notice you've got a couple of little shots above that. So here, that's your Eagle Strike. Now, doing that to a wound, you saw hit for like 30, 30, and 50. If I just do this to a non-wounded panel, that one's wounded, that's why I got to go to the other side. Normal panel, it's only going to hit just the one time. So you do want to save your Eagle Strikes for wounds, but you're able to go for those wounds from range, even if I'm way back here. As long as I can land it, I'm still going to get that big chunk. I'm going to break the part off the monster, do whatever damage I need to. And then you'll notice if I go for a reload, it doesn't change the Eagle Strikes. Those are a timed reload thing. So keep that in mind. Same thing with your special strike. This is your Wyvern Strike on this one. So when you do this one, you're going to basically implant a Wyvern Blast into the ground, and then when I fire, then you'll see it explode. That big fireball was not there before. So every time, if I can plant that in front of something and then fire, I'm able to get that explosion every time. But again, that is a timed release, like time reload. Nothing you can do to force that. Now, when it comes to firing the actual fire and then follow-up attack, so if you fire and then hit the chaser shot for B, you'll notice that damage goes up. So if my normal shots are about 11, but then I go for the chaser shot, it's going to be 11 and then it's going to hit in the 20s. So the chaser shot, while using using the next like ammo piece that you've got, like you're going to use 4, and then I'm going to go for, you got to be kind of quick with it though, I will say. So here's that, and then chaser shot. The chaser shots, they hit harder. They really do. And again, if you open that wound, always take the time to get that eagle strike for that big chunk of damage, and then reload. So your chaser shot is a nice way, if you're in proper range, get a nice shot off, get a couple more bullets in there. And again, that's all I'm going to get out of ammo usage, and then I'm going to have to reload. But you can still get some chunks off, and the nice thing is, as long as you can decently dodge the enemy, stay away from it, you're doing a lot of this from range, so you're playing it safer for sure. Now, the other thing you can do is, you'll notice when I fire, I don't have the option for, I can sidestep while I fire. And I can get a little sidestep in there, but I can't fire while I sidestep until I actually switch modes. So now I'm going to go into rapid fire mode. So this one is going to look and feel a little bit different. So this is going to be a lot more bullets. And they've actually even got a rapid chaser shot as well. But you notice the stagger that even happened to me after that? That's another one of those things you got to be aware of. So your machine gun's nice, and you can even go into that stagger as well and get a nice chunk of damage off. Open up the wound. You just have to make sure you know that if you go for that chaser shot, especially in rapid fire mode, that you are going to 100% probably fall backwards a little bit and be stunned to yourself. So you just got to be aware of when to go for that stuff so you don't set yourself up to get smashed by the monster. Now, also, when I fire, you're also going to notice I have a burst step option, and it's just right here. So you're going to hit trigger and A at the same time. So if you're moving, you've got this kind of like burst fire option. And then, you know, if I go and reload, same thing here. So it gives you a little bit more ability while you're firing to kind of get it across the body of an enemy. Maybe you want to open up something that way. And then always looking for those. So what I want to do is I'm going to clean this wound up here. And then I want to reload. And then I want to put my special ammo down. And then I want to show you with special ammo, Wyvern Blast down in the ground, a couple of these burst steps. That one didn't hit, that one did, that one did, and that one did. And I got about 3 bursts out of the Wyvern Blast, but all of that is still going to do damage. So if you can get it near a foot, near something, underneath a head, whatever it may be, if you can get that in the right place, that can do quite a bit of damage for you. And again, just messing with your ammo that you've got, your piercing ammo, that's going to be, again, armor piercing, depending on what you're firing at. Not doing so much, but again, notice how far back I am for range. This is something you are going to use at range, but if it can travel through, say, an enemy, you got to be in pretty much the perfect range for it to go through. But if you can do it, it might be the right thing to go for. And then again, if you're going to go for normal ammo, I don't actually have piercing normal ammo, so I've literally only got the thunder, the spread, and the normal, so different weapon types or different modes are going to have different fire abilities. So keep all that in mind. It's going to be a combination of understanding your ammo, understanding your ranges, and just trying to manage the best that you've got out of it. But overall, still a decent weapon. And what I'm going to go do now is take a bit of a normal setup out. Not all the piercing or spread or anything like that. And just kind of go take down the Chotacabra as we've done before. So let me go find one, and we'll cut forward. Alright, so we found the Chotacabra. I'm going to see if there's a sneak attack with this weapon, because I'm actually not sure, but most of them all have had it so far, so we're going to try. So it doesn't really look like I've got any type of sneak attack behind. Most I could probably do is an eagle strike if you wanted to like start with that. Probably not going to be that effective. Maybe if it's like a switch modes thing, I can go for a sneak attack, but I just kind of want to check just to be sure. And you're still decently mobile, so if not the case, then we're just going to start out. I'm going to go with my rapid fire. And we're going to get things started. So the biggest thing about this is you're able to do a lot at range as long as you can understand what the ranges are supposed to be. Probably shouldn't have been hit there, but again, trying to go for that. So again, if I want to do a Wyvern Strike here, I can kind of have him set up. And I can have that Wyvern Strike still cooking him the whole time while that's going on. So that's actually a pretty effective one there. A lot of it is just going to be understanding monster placement. Did not actually get that on the focus spot. There we go. Knocked him over. Got a nice chunk off. And then if I want to switch modes and be a little bit more accurate, I can go over to like piercing ammo if I want to be a little more specific with that. That's piercing ammo, notice. I hit mode, sorry, not piercing. That worked really well, actually. And the nice thing is about the weapon, as long as you can kind of get out of the way, you're going to be able to focus different parts of the monster pretty well. And if I do want to do a special attack, I can line that thing up here. But you do kind of want to save that focus attack until it's actually looking at you. So if he's coming at me, see, he just walked over it himself. And then if I can line myself in front, get a little bit more bonus that way. So I'm going to switch modes. Got your side steps. And again, here's your actual dash attack if you want that one on the rapid fire mode. Gotta actually switch. So as long as you've got an Eagle Strike set up, you should be in pretty good shape. And then if you still want to be able to get those attacks off while you do that dash sideways attack, you can get a lot done with these. So if you're more into like some range, having just some ammo to manage, and understand like you'll be managing some ammo, you'll be doing a couple different things, but if you want to play a little bit more at range, feel like you want to not be quite as close, the ranged options like this, the heavy bowgun, the actual bow, all are quite viable to do some pretty good stuff. This one doesn't have quite the big charge up attacks that the heavy bowgun does. Doesn't mean it's still not putting in plenty of work. And then maybe I want to go for some spread ammo if I'm close. But notice the way some of these shots are going. Much slower, so understanding your ammo before you just switch to a random ammo, definitely beneficial. But I'm not really taking a lot of damage, so you can do this probably a lot safer if this is your kind of way to try before, you know, a whole bunch of melee weapons come into your game. This is just a way for you to try things out. And again, you can do an Eagle Strike, it's just not going to do as much if a wound is not open. So it is kind of intentional for you to try and at least get that wound open. And using that sideways dash strike, there's your nice little counter. He's going to come charging. And again, that follow-up shot is actually going to be a good thing to do as much as you can. There we go, finally got one on me. There we go. There we go, I'm starting to open a wound on the backside here. Wound's open. Do I have an Eagle Strike? I do. Trying to gotta land it. Whiff. And that's kind of the problem of actually doing that at a wrong time, is that you might not be able to actually get him to you. Come on at me. But again, you can line this thing almost up as a trap. Gotta make sure I'm actually in range. See, I mean, it's like I don't feel like I've been doing that much, but he is definitely wounded already. I know there's a wound on him, but it just doesn't want to take. So again, breaking off another part, getting more damage off. Going for the chaser shot. Reloading, and you might even get a few shots off while he runs away. So we're close, but we'll go chase him down. So it may seem like one of the more boring weapons, but believe me, there's still value to this weapon in and of itself. It just, honestly, every weapon that you play in this game really kind of depends on just what you find fun, what you find enjoyable, what works with your comfort of a moveset. If you just want to manage ammo, if you want to manage reloads, kind of distance, but you want to have that comfort of being at range, not trying to dodge the giant attacks, this may be something that works. The heavy bowgun I'll do in a separate video, it also does. I do love the auto move, the run after, and then again, you can come up, get him trapped. You can actually Probably check and see if you're reloaded. And then if I go for the trap itself, vine trap, put that on him. Oh, he didn't actually take it. Final one with the chaser. I know he's got one underneath him down there. Yeah, see, he's got one on his butt. There we go. Now would be a good time to capture him, but we're not doing that in this one. We're just going for a finish. And again, part of that too is getting your timing right with the fire to the chaser shot to make sure you actually get the chaser as opposed to switching modes. So as you can see, I've been still doing that a few times in here. I'm not going to claim to be a bowgun expert. I just kind of get the gist of it. And then if I've got a shot for the rear end here, then I can go for... And that'll break off multiple, look at that, 2 pieces or 3 pieces off the ground, multiple wounds destroyed, doing a bunch of damage. Get a reload in, now I'll go for a couple chasers, and he's down. So it's still a very effective weapon, just like half of the others. May not look like it's doing much, but you're kind of constantly pumping out damage. You got to make sure your eagle strikes land. You want to make sure those, if you're going for wounds, definitely land. That's important. If you're going for the bigger charge-up shot on the heavy bowgun, that takes a little bit more. This one's a little more manageable. Ammo is going to be a big thing, whether you have thunder ammo, normal or piercing or spread, to get the most out of the ranges that you're sitting here available. But overall, the light bowgun, if you want, like, you know, kind of your third person, shooting the monsters as a place to jump into the game, get a feel for some of the mechanics of crafting and those things, and then try some melee weapons later, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a way to do it, and this is kind of a nice... I would say, you know, low learning curve weapon. You've got some potential on the ammos and making sure you get your chaser shots in there for timing, but it doesn't have vials and gauges and all that other stuff. Ammo can get a little complicated, but not too crazy. So if you enjoyed this one and the light bowgun speaks to you, then definitely comment below and say hello. If you're an expert on the light bowgun, please share anything that I may have forgotten about it, because I'm not claiming to be an expert. But hopefully this weapon tour gives you an idea if this is a weapon you want to use or if you don't. And hopefully this was a good video for you guys. If you enjoyed it, I've got a lot more Monster Hunter Wilds coverage coming, so hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. Hope to see you all in the next one, and probably the next one I'm going to do after this is the heavy bowgun, so I'm going to finish them up today and tomorrow. So enjoy those, and I'll see you in the next video. Hope to see you soon.